I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Ron Poole. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
It is a beautiful night here in South Florida.
Well, that's great. You're not too far from me, my friend. Just a couple of hours, right?
Yes.
Well, that's great. Well, Ron, tell us, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
Unconditional love.
Oh, I love that. Wow, it took a while to get an answer like that. Tell me more.
Well, I am in a part of a community with my wife. We do a lot of online marketing and online training, so we're front and center for noise like what you're making in the world. It's easy for us to pick up on it. And my wife, as the leader of this community, saw your offer and sent it out to our community, and I picked it up from there.
What's your wife's name?
Mandy White Pearl.
Yeah. Wonderful. Pretty amazing stuff.
I'm sure you're going to get on with her, and then there's another dozen, at least in our community, I think, that are all signed up. I didn't pay attention to it a whole lot, but it was all the noise. I think I'm the first one because I just saw it at noon today.
I'm sure I didn't speak with Amanda White Pearl as yet. I definitely would have remembered that name, right?
Yes.
My wife's name being Amanda, and of course the White Pearl, right? Like my mind, my imagination goes all over with that.
Yeah.
But that's intriguing. I appreciate that tremendously. Tell us about your community, please.
We have a community. It's called Expand Your Impact. We help entrepreneurs find their voice in the world. A lot of online marketing, and then a lot of sort of mindset training that helps them get clear about who they are and how their story impacts their outcome and how to make the impact in the world that they're really looking for. So I sent you some stuff in the bio, but we have a class, for instance, starting next week that is called Money in the Big O and Why You Need More of Both. And you're talking about how to encourage that orgasmic, joyous energy in your body and in your business.
So important, right?
Yeah, it's a real fusion of an energetic awareness in both how it works in your business and how it works in your body.
So who did you learn that skill from?
My wife and I have been evolving this. We take tools from a modality called Access Consciousness, and then we mix it from things that we've learned with Law of Attraction and Abraham Hicks. And then we do a lot of direct marketing work online. And so we've been training for this for a while, and we know that the world is made up of energy. And so we are learning to play with the energy in order to create change in our life.
That's amazing. Sounds like fun.
Yes. Fun is key. Fun is key, my friend. I just finished reading a book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, the same lady that wrote Eat, Pray, Love, which is a little more famous.
Right.
And it's a wonderful example, and she calls it creative living beyond fear. And the big magic is when, in her version, is when all the synchronicities line up, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
There's a young woman I like to say called Mary Lennon. I had her on the podcast last year when we hooked up for the first conversation. I had friends over from Florida, right? And they were there with, it was Alicia, and her children were here, and then they paired off with my children, so it was loud, and she came just when I was supposed to have that conversation. So Mary called, and I told her, hey Mary, I wouldn't be able to speak right now, so let's reconnect. And she said tomorrow. We did all of that and we reconnected, right? All of that to say that after the conversation, she has these cards, right? These small cards, these affirmation cards. And she spoke about them, and she actually said, well, hey, I'll send it to you. So the cost of the cards to send them, I think, was £12, right? Which is 12 is definitely one of our favorite numbers on the podcast. And today, my friend, I picked one of those cards, and the card was synchronicity. So it was just intriguing, right? To share all of that. Thing. Yeah. So I look over to the bookshelf on the right side of me, on the right side, right? And I see the word synchronicity. And you just speak of it. It's just really amazing how things can connect.
I agree with you. One of my wife and I's favorite movie is a movie called Serendipity, just all about how all that works.
Yeah, and that's what I attempt to do in 12 minutes. That being said, tell me one other thing, Ron, that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
I have been involved in meditation and learning that my thoughts are not me, and it's a huge shift in your happiness and your understanding and your space and your world and your, it's before you understand that your thoughts are not you. You are a reactionary, victim-oriented human being, and when you start to understand that your thoughts are more like your farts, that they are from you, but they are not of you, that it's just one piece of your existence, then it gives you an opportunity to understand and be more proactive than reactive in your life. And the meditation's been amazing. I've got this headband that I wear in the morning, and it's called a Muse, and it's a biofeedback device that talks to my phone. And when I'm real calm, it has quiet little bird tweets, and that was a gift from my wife a couple of years ago, and that's what really kicked off that meditation for me, was having that little device. Yeah.
Sweet. Suggest to someone that's listening why they should do what you've done by incorporate the suggestions of your wife.
If you would like more ease and joy and glory in your life, then I just want to say that it's possible, right? And what if the wrongness was real of you was really like the greatness of you, right? And that these things they're all possible. They're waiting for you to access them, and it's a beautiful world.
Amazing audience, you're hearing it live here from Ron Poole. Again, you can connect with him at expandyouриmpact.com. Ron, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Ron, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory is around Christmas time, and I am probably I'm guessing I'm 4 years old. Florida does not get a lot of snow, and the city of Orlando got a little snow flurry.
Oh, really?
And, yeah. I want to say this is 1977, 78, something like that. It's going back quite a ways. And at the same time, my great-grandfather, my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather was a professional Santa Claus in the city of Buffalo, New York, and part of the trimmings of being Santa Claus is that he sent a special stardust that you sprinkled on the doorstep so that Santa could see your house from the sky. And I remember, because the snow didn't last long, and you had to get up really late at night, and I remember sprinkling the dust and seeing the snow.
Love it. So why do you think this memory is so clear, and how do you see it connecting to who you are today?
It's all just very magical and fun. I don't know what the connection is other than it's a particularly romantic time of year, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the family that you get around this time of year. And I reflected on it because I had seen your questions coming ahead of time.
Sure.
So I reflected on it, and I sometimes for me it's more of a visual experience. I see certain images, and I needed to be able to like tack into the story of what that was. There was a moonlight, and I could see clearly that I'm in the frame of the front door looking out at the front yard.
That's intriguing. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind? Yeah, I love the idea of it starts on the top. You expressed so much of how much starts in our mind. Even with the sprinkling of the dust on the roof, right? The marking of the spot where the treasure would be or where the treasure should be. I just love the idea of the connection of the value of what occurs on the top and then how it impacts so much other aspects of our lives.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. If we fast forwarded to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
So I went and looked because I had to get sure what it was. The top songs that were going on in 1985 that I know were, so for instance, We Are the World was out in 1985.
Wow.
Like it's an iconic song, but the one that comes up for me is a song by a band named Dire Straits, and it's called Money for Nothing.
There we go. Now, you spoke about the O in money with something, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh, that's intriguing.
Yes. Right? So the hook on that, it's called money and the big O, and why you need more of both in your life.
Yeah.
And it comes down to the idea that money and sex are two primary ways that we receive in this world.
Yeah, so it's amazing, right? That money and that just come full circle, didn't it?
Yes, and the same types of judgments that you have that separate you in your personal life, right, can be the same types of energy judgments that separate you in your financial life. The same kinds of limitations would exist in parallel in both places in your life.
That's intriguing.
Yeah.
All right, champion. Well, hey, we've arrived at our destination now. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Ron, are you ready?
I am ready.
Ron, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married? Well, yes. You spoke of your wife,
Yes.
Right? Do you have children?
I have 2 children.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Small.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
It's probably close. My wife and I have a couple of shows we like. Outside of occasional sporting events, I would say no.
And what about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
For me, it's probably right at 8. We do online marketing. I'm sitting in front of a computer at my house with my wife most of the time, and that's our interface to the world. So I would say it's 8 or more.
Ron, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
Choose love, give love, be love.
Love it. Ron, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
You can choose to be you and be a gift to the world.
Ron Pearl, thank you, my friend, for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.